Did you know that there is a course called Women Who Lead where you get to spend hours with me learning how to make every interaction safe, logical, fun, and memorable? Doesn't that sound like a great way to spend some time? It will put tools in your tool belt that will change your trajectory. Give it a shot. Go to www.aimwithus.com and click on courses. I can't wait to see you there.
Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christie, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy, the recap. So it's been another fantastic week, and I am having such a great time learning new people, growing as a podcaster, figuring out what I do and don't know. I'm learning new things every single day, and I am just so grateful, so humbled that you're on this journey with me. So if you're listening right now, give me some sort of indication that you are. You could send me a message on Instagram or on LinkedIn. If you just look up Dr. Christie McMullen, you'll find me, or Productive Joy, either one works. And just tell me what you're liking. What are you enjoying? What are you experiencing with this podcast? Because darn it if I'm not having a good time. So as I hang up with each guest, I always ask them, what'd you think? And then the number one thing that I hear is your energy is infectious. Isn't it good? Right? Like that's the goal. Our goal is to be memorable as human beings, and I want that for you too. It doesn't mean you need to be me because I'm the only me I know how to be. I'm like a Tigger, right? But so are you. And Tiggers are wonderful things because they're the only one. So be you and go embrace who you are out in the world and get excited about it because you're really, really special. And I just want to hear from you. So make sure you're reaching out and telling me a little bit about who you are and what you're thinking about Productive Joy. So this week I had two fabulous guests. I had Kash Rocheleau and I had Jamie Lerner. Both were fabulous women who are doing really amazing things. So Jamie she focuses on well-being and she has a very innovative approach to well-being. But what I appreciated about Jamie is the reminder that we need to be comfortable in our own skin. So she talked about who she was, right? Just like I was just saying, and who she knows she's supposed to be. And she's choosing to stay focused on that. Instead of letting the world dictate who we're supposed to be, we really do need to stay true to ourselves. And so what does that look like? It could look like any number of things, but I think the biggest thing that it looks like is somebody who embraces themselves, quirks and all, and recognizes that they are showing up as their best version of themselves, whatever that might be. That's pretty cool. So that was my takeaway from Jamie. And then my takeaway with Kash. Kash is a pretty cool chick. She started out as an executive assistant, and then although she worked her way up the ranks, basically went from executive assistant to CFO to CEO of iconfoods.com. That's a pretty big deal. And she is a young girl who has done this quickly. And her advice, so we talked a little bit about my own children and what advice would you give a 24-year-old who's figuring things out? And her biggest thing really with that was to be okay with where you are and what you're doing, to know your why, and then to be a part of the solution instead of thinking that you have to have all the answers. So whether that's for somebody who's in charge of an organization and having to answer a whole bunch of questions, or somebody who is just in charge, I shouldn't say just, who is in charge of their families and trying to get that part right, either instance is a chance for us to take a breath and say, what's going well? What's going not so well? And how do I shift from the stuff that's going not so well to the stuff that's going well? I don't have, well, actually, not true. I've shown it to you before. I do have a magic wand. This is my magic wand. I got it at the dollar store. It does not contain any actual magic. But what it does do is it reminds me that I'd like to sprinkle pixie dust all over everybody and make magical things happen. And yet, that has to happen from within. Right? So as I'm talking through all of this, I think the takeaway that I have from this week is twofold. One, to trust your humans. I have a gift. I have several gifts. You have several gifts. Your gifts and my gifts are not the same, but together we're better than separate. And so if you are running a team of people, whether those team are consisting of tiny humans or adult humans, if you're running a team, you need to trust your people. You need to let people do what they were designed to do, and you need to trust them to be as good at it as they possibly can be, rather than micromanaging. So that's my first one. My second one was to learn to love the losses. So this was actually the advice that Kash had for 24-year-olds who are figuring it out. But I'm going to argue that as a 48-year-old, I needed to hear it too. We need to learn to love the losses because that's actually where the learning happens. When something big and wonderful happens, it happens, we get excited. She used the analogy, you pop the champagne, and then it's over the next day. And you're like, oh, okay, what's next? But when something doesn't work and you have a loss, you've got to sit in it for a minute and learn from it. And when you do that, that's the lasting memory. That's the coachable moment. That's the shift in how you do things that will make the biggest impact. Isn't that what we need and want more of? I know it is for me. I want to live in a space where I can say, darn it, that did not go the way I thought it would. And here's what I learned. Or, you know what? That was pretty darn good. And here's what I learned. I do believe in lifelong learning, and that's not just because I'm an educator by trade. It's because I believe that we have not arrived yet, nor will we. We just keep getting better. So, what are you getting better at today? How can you create a little more productive joy in that space? What does productive joy look like in that space for you? Because that's ultimately what I want. I want you to listen to this and go, you know what? There's my nugget of wisdom. I can use that. So I speak all over the country. I have the privilege and opportunity of talking to a lot of fascinating people. You guys have heard me in lots of different instances here talking about and to people. And I recently had somebody tell me that I said something 8 or 9 months ago. She was going through a loss. She had lost her husband and she was in a dark place. And I didn't know any of this. I still don't know any of this. This actually came to me secondhand, but she said, you know, I heard Christie say something that really stuck with me, and that's that I need to be my authentic self and I need to stop trying to be something I'm not. I do say that a lot, but I didn't know how it would hit for her. And yet, in the last 8 months, she has managed to dig herself out of a very dark place and become who she's meant to be because she allowed it. Now, that had zero to do with me and everything to do with her being ready to listen. And we got to say the things, right? We got to put it out there. We've got to be that light in the world so that it doesn't get so dark and dreary that we can't find the light anymore. So I'm going to leave you with this. I want you to be the light. Figure out what that looks like for you. Maybe it's that you kindly talk to people when you're in the grocery store, or maybe it's that you wave at people on the street. So I grew up in a really small town where when you drove with both hands on the wheel, and you've either got a one finger wave, a two finger wave, you got a whole hand wave. That was like a big deal. But, you know, maybe that's it. Or maybe it's smiling at somebody, or maybe it's making somebody laugh, or maybe it's calling a friend and saying, you know what, I was just thinking about you and I thought I'd give you a call. We have so much ability to influence others. We don't always remember to take it. And so my challenge for you today is for you to take it, to take the opportunity to be the light, because somebody's world's pretty dark and you have the opportunity to change that. So I hope that you're enjoying Productive Joy. I hope that you'll reach out like I asked you in the beginning. And I hope that you will tell me what you are and are not enjoying about this podcast so that we can make it better. And I also want more than anything for you to figure out a way today to turn fun into action.